Why did you drop out of NIST?
Uh, so there were multiple reasons why I dropped out of NIFT. I think the starting of that would be that I was already into design from a very young age. So I had started designing when I was in school, and even while I was in school, I would work on commercial projects as well for, the siblings of my classmates. And when I went to college, I had already had a lot of information and knowledge in the field of graphic design and video making and all those things. And when I was in first year, first year in the college where I was, NIFT is a foundation year where you're taught a lot of different things. So we were taught how to make bags out of macrame. We were told how to make purses. We were taught how to do clay modeling, and none of these things had any interest for me. So I wasn't really into that side of things, and I still thought, it's okay that they teach us this. Probably by the time we get into first year, second year, I think things would get better. But when I was in second year, they were still teaching very basic stuff, which I had already covered previously when I was in my school. So for me, it was a simple equation of my math not working out. Like, I think the semester fee around that time was probably close to 55,000, and paying that amount of money every semester to learn things that I already knew was kind of did not make sense to me. So I went to my teachers and I told them, that hey, can you teach me something else? And they were reluctant to do that, obviously, because from my point of view, it did not work out for me. But I guess for a lot of other people who did not have that kind of exposure that I had, I think it made a lot of sense to them to continue with what they were doing. But for me, it really did not make sense. And I also remember one time when we were working on some branding project inside college, and one of the students who was working, so we all had one project to do, and the person who went before me to get evaluated, I would not call him the brightest kid in the class, and I expected, if whatever marks he's going to get, I'll at least get as much as he did. So he went in and he got a 16 on 20, and I was next and I got a 4 on 20. So my professor just failed me because I did not take approvals from him. So it just became an environment which was pretty demotivating, honestly. And they were not teaching me something new. So I thought anything would be better than, wasting another 3 years in that college and paying money to not even learn something new. So that really did not work out very well for me. And that's why I decided to drop out.
Well, that's an interesting story. And I studied engineering for 8 months and then I decided to join NIFT. So for me, the first year was actually getting to know about designing, getting comfortable with the idea of arts and design. So I didn't really understand the importance of having that, we call that niche, and being clear about what we are trying to study. Like you said, graphic designing. So in the first year, there was nothing related to graphic designing. It was just the basics, right? Which you had already studied in school. So I think that was a wise decision. But
I think it differs from everyone, person to person.
Yeah.
Go on.
I mean, was it difficult for you to drop out? Because in our society, it's actually a very difficult thing to get out of college. I did it once, so I know it takes a lot of courage, a lot of strength to do that. So how did you manage to do that? I
think it was not that hard for me because honestly for me it did not make sense. It was like I was paying 55,000 a semester and had wasted 1.5 lakhs by the time I was in third semester. And very objectively and very logically, I was going to study for another 4 years, and by the end of it, I was going to get a salary of say 15 to 20,000 rupees. That was a speculated salary at that time. So it did not really make sense that I waste 8-9 lakhs or more than that, and then added money of staying in a particular place. Like the lifestyle expenses just did not equate very well with the outcome of the process. So if you study in a college for 4 years and you end up with a job which gives you 15 to 20,000 rupees. I'm sure the case is different today, But back then it was 15,000-20,000 rupees, and getting out of a college which is a national institute and getting that amount of money did not make sense, because if say you live in a good enough house, that'll be 8,000 rupees or 9,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees, and then you don't have any money left to do anything by yourself, then you again dependent on your parents. So the entire point of coming to college and being financially stable and getting a good job, those things I did not see them coming. So it became very natural to me and very evident that this is not the right way to do it, and that I should not be doing this.
I think that's what most of the entrepreneurs talk about every day, that the knowledge that you're getting should be able to lend you a good job so that you can afford the lifestyle that you want to live in. But
absolutely, yeah. So there was no plan actually. When I dropped out, I just knew that I did not want to do this and that anything else would be better than doing this. But I had no plans that, this is exactly what I will do. So, but I do remember that when I had dropped out, I had this vague idea that, I had to earn 60,000 rupees. So I wrote it down on a piece of paper and I was like, I have to keep working till I get this amount of money. And the logic behind that money was simple, that, 60,000 rupees was exactly the amount of money I needed to pay one semester fees. So by the end of the next 6 months, when I could probably rejoin college, I wanted to have enough money to have an option that I could go back to college. So now it depended on me if I wanted to go back or not, but I wanted me to be strong enough to say, yeah, I have this money, but it's up to me now. So at that point, it was more like, that was what financial stability meant at that point. And since then, when I had that goal of getting to the 60,000, it was just about getting that money by hook or crook, So I would go do any kind of jobs. I remember I was working for my neighbor one day and she wanted some Photoshop edits or something. So I charged her $500 for that. I remember going to some parties to, click photos as a photographer. And I was doing a lot of these odd jobs just to get till that 60,000 rupees come out. So that's the only plan I had in mind. But luckily, but also at that time, it was, I think, the poorest that I've ever been in my life. So I was living in a house where the rent was 4,000 rupees a month. And I did not even have that much money to pay. So I remember shifting out to a small one-room PG, which could barely fit a bed and a table. And if you'd open the door, you are no longer inside the room anymore. So it was very small and we had shared toilets and all those things. And it was a pathetic place to be. It was a really sad place to be. And it was just about, getting back up on my feet and, doing anything to not be in that kind of an environment and just trying hard to succeed.
That's commendable what you went through, and seriously, it's amazing that you didn't go back home, because going back home is the safest option we all have.
Yeah, absolutely. Like going back home is like a safety net, because that's where you kill your ambitions and dreams, because there is your father or your mother to take care of you. So I think if any one of you, if it's in a place, where you're trying to make that life change or you want to get better, I think being independent is very important. Like stop asking your parents for money, just try to stand up on your own feet. If you fail, it's okay, then you figure out something else, but it's important to give yourself that chance to fail, so that if something happens, there's always an opportunity to excel or succeed at something.